So similes are basically when you say X is like Y, A is like B. So similes are very much like metaphors. The difference is that they include words such as like or as, which make it clear that two things are being compared. So it's much more obvious. And so, for example, that man is an animal. This is a metaphor because we're not using like or as. But if we say he behaves like an animal, this is a simile. As soon as you use the word like or as, it's simile. So you think of simile as similar, sama, similar, simile. Similes are often exaggerated comparisons just to make it more vivid, just to make it come to life, especially if you're speaking a lot and you're in a meeting, you're teaching, you're telling a story. Similes are it's a great way to make people engaged with you a bit more because they like listening to you, because when you speak, it's full of life. Forrest Gump could run as fast as lightning. So I was watching this, Forrest Gump. It's on Netflix, and that was fun. So I thought about Forrest Gump a lot when I was thinking about similes. So here are ways that you can create your own similes. Number one, make it simple and clear when you're doing a comparison. Think about what are you trying to compare. The context, does it fit the emotion? Does it fit the characters or characters in the scene? You don't have to write like Shakespeare. Just use plain everyday English. Number two, visual. Make it vivid. So you have to paint a picture in the mind of your readers or your listeners. Make sure that the image is as vivid as possible, and you can use sensory language. You can use, you can imagine how it smells, how it tastes, how it feels, how it moves. Make people imagine that sensory language. Original. Now this is hard. The third thing here, avoid using cliches. So cliches are overused until it becomes really bad, right? Overused similes that have been used in the past. When you think of a simile and you're like, oh God, it's been used before. Let me try again. 2 or 3 more ideas. And then you can decide one that is the most powerful and the one that's most unique. So it is hard to do a simile that's unique because you want to avoid similes that have become cliches. Look at this one. We learned this in kindergarten, I think. As busy as a bee, as brave as a lion. I slept like a log. Log is a tree that has been cut. Slept like a log. As sweet as sugar, as cold as ice, as white as a ghost, as big as an elephant. And I remember telling a story about my sofa that I have right now in my house. And I described it. It is gray and big as an elephant, because that's the only thing that came to mind as I was telling that story spontaneously. So sometimes it's like, oh, I just want to use this cliches one. It's okay. No one's going to kill you. But try to come up with original ones if possible. And I would say that original similes come from a lot of reading and listening. And so it takes a skilled person to be able to do this. Don't worry, we will practice. The most famous one is from Forrest Gump. It's not the most famous, but it's my favorite. When I first heard it I don't know, I can't remember how old I was when I first watched this, maybe 12, 13, 14, in Forrest Gump, when Forrest Gump said, Mama always said, life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. You never know what you're going to get, right? So chocolate full of surprises. When you bite into it, you don't know if it's going to be coconut or full of whatever nuts in there. You don't know what you're going to get until you bite into it. So it means that life is full of surprises, right? Okay. So can we try to guess some popular English similes? Can you guess what they mean simply by looking at these? These are not cliches, actually. I was looking through the website, like what similes are still popular. That means you can still use them at the workplace in your writing. And it's okay. Okay, so let's do number 1. Avoid like the plague. Plague is an illness. What do you think it means? Run away as far as you can. Avoid it. Stay away. Number 2, clear as mud, because I've never used this. So I had to check. Is it sarcasm? It's not. It's just like when you say, yeah, it's as clear as mud. It's not clear at all. Because I thought it was sarcastic, but it's not. It's just a saying to mean it's not clear. I never use this. So maybe you can try it at the workplace. You can say, that idea is as clear as mud. Or the briefing you gave was clear as mud. Let's see whether your friends understand. It's very insulting, isn't it? They were like, clear, thank you. They didn't hear clear as mud. I said as mud. Okay, number 3. Easy as ABC. Of course, it's opposite of number 2. Easy as ABC. Number 4. Fits like a glove. When you put on a glove, right? It's ngam. What says in Malay? Ngam, betul ngam. Yeah. Just nice, perfect. Yeah, the Malay version, ngam, love it. Number 5, get on like a house on fire. Positive or negative? When I was looking, I was like, oh, is this positive or negative? I've never used this, but I hear people use this a lot, natives. We get on like a house on fire. Is that negative or positive? When we get on like a house on fire, it's positive. So strange. It's a relationship that you can say, oh, my husband and I, we get on like a house on fire. That means I get on very well with my husband, which is a very strange way to say. It sounds like it's horrible mess, but it's not. So you clear it's positive. Okay. For number 6, what do you think? Have a memory like a sieve. So this is a tool in your house when you fry something and you take out the oil, you use a sieve. Is that positive or negative when you've got a memory like that? Bad memory. Everything's like going, like falling because you can't remember a thing. Okay, good. Number 7, like a fish out of water. So this is positive or negative? Fish out of water. Negative. Why? What does it mean? So I first heard this when I was I was listening to a movie review of Wonder Woman. I don't know why, but because they keep on saying it is a story of a fish out of water. Like many movies, like many origin stories, for example, Wonder Woman, it's about the character being a fish out of water. So being new to the experience, that's what it means. It's like awkward, it's new. I feel like a fish out of water at this party. I don't fit in. It's new. Okay.
Like you don't belong there, right?
Like you don't belong. Yeah, that's a good one. So Wonder Woman, in this case, when she had to leave her place of origin, she had to go to Earth. Is it Earth or whatever, right? She's still on Earth. I don't know where she was. Yeah, she's still on Earth, but she had to go to the world of men. Okay, number 8, like watching paint dry. Is that positive or negative? Listening to that professor is like watching paint dry. Okay, it means it's boring. Okay. Number 9, works like a charm. This thing works like a charm. Of course, that sounds positive already. All right, so it's working. Okay, so these are popular ones that you can try. So now that we've explored similes where we use like and as, what I want you to do as best as you can, write as many descriptions of the following characters, which I'll show in the next slide. You can describe their appearance, what they look like, their behavior, their mannerisms, the style of speaking, whatever they have, even their background, where they're coming from, the role they play in that movie, if you want. So here's an example. Although Edward Scissorhands had scissor blades for fingers, he was as gentle as I'm using similes here. Gentle as can you think of Aisha? What do you think? Gentle as
I thought of gentle as a mouse. Is that such a thing? No, that's quiet as a mouse. Gentle as a baby. No.
Yeah. That's why you have to come up with your first idea. You land on your first idea, and then you try to come up with more synonyms as you explore a bit more further. And mine, I asked my husband, what do you think? Gentle as and he wrote, and he said, gentle as a bird, which was lovely, because the first thing that came to mind was gentle as a dove. Dove is also a bird related to gentleness for some, I think. And I thought, okay, some more, and another picture came to mind. Gentle as a ballerina dancing on stage. I thought, yeah, I like that one. That's original. I didn't copy that anywhere else. That is the process I want you to go through. Okay. So what you're gonna do now, as best as you can, write similes or metaphors related to these characters. Okay. All right. So we've got Jack Sparrow. We'll go to the classic Cinderella. If you like comics, let's go to Superman or Marvel, Thor, Spider-Man, and Gollum, if you're familiar with Lord of the Rings. And of course, the iconic Mr. Bean. Jack Sparrow is as crazy as a drunkard on drugs.
That's a lot.
Jack Sparrow is as crazy as a drunkard on drugs. So I was also doing this and struggling with you, like, how do I do this? I did not prepare this beforehand, so I just did it with you on the spot. Okay. Cinderella. This is boring, I think, but never mind. Cinderella is as naive as a schoolgirl. I don't know. It's okay. I can do better. I know. Naive means innocent, right? Okay, for this one, I wrote Gollum. Gollum's character was mesmerizing and engaging to watch, or just engaging to watch. Gollum's character was engaging to watch. So engaging, remember we earlier learned, is it means that it was interesting to watch, but engaging, you're pulled in to watch. The role of Superman fit Henry Cavill like a, remember? We learned about glove, like a glove. That's it. That's all I've got. That's good enough. Okay, so that's a brilliant exercise. Stretch your imagination and using similes to just be creative. Okay, brilliant, you guys. And let's see, what have we learned? So we have learned metaphors and similes, knowing how a word can carry non-literal meaning. That means it's not that obvious. And so to expand your vocabulary, of course, we encourage you to read and listen to more English material. This will help you to confidently identify and use metaphors and similes in speaking and writing. And don't forget, I've given you the link to what we call the metaphor boxes in the Macmillan English Dictionary online, so that you can appreciate more metaphors, idioms, and similes in there. So I hope this class has been fruitful for you, and I hope it's inspired you to explore more.